Come on in, welcome in to the almost post game show because there's games going on. Some we do have some
Nice
finals.
game, but there was a reason for it.
Let me know if you can hear.
So it
It's right
will be
here. Of
holding from
course,
the spot.
21-21. We do have a final, several finals. Gulfport did win
So
45 to
they're going to
10
mark it off
over Petal. The other game that we're
and put the ball down at the
watching
16-yard line.
is right
Edwin
here.
Ruffin,
That
going to say Big Ruffin finishing that one off. Good job by Lamarcus Anderson. And, of course,
Oak Grove. Let me make it bigger.
Warner slowing him down from the start. So
Gulfport.
second and 16 now
Brandon
for
went down and
the
went for 2
Bulldogs.
points.
Look for something
Tie
down
the
the middle of
game.
the field.
Gulfport will play the winner of this game.
Shaq instead going to check it down. He's got Bowles. Bowles wrapped up immediately. There's
Brandon
Lamarcus Anderson again, the junior, with a great open field tackle. We've called his name multiple times tonight.
Yeah, Jay Barnes slows him up. You see number 20 comes off his waist, but
and this is I have to see how much time is left here. Stone, Laurel at Stone. But if Brandon wins, Gulfport will host Brandon. If Oak Grove wins, Gulfport will go to Oak Grove for South State. Their first since 1999. Picayune did win. We have Hattiesburg in control 35-7 against Pascagoula. So they have 1 minute left here. Let me turn it up here. Try to start the rescreen again. Can y'all hear? It's saying that it. Let me see.
Hosey is going to be hit. And
Can you hear that?
Laurel trying to pull him down. They're going to mark him at the 6-yard line.
I'll blow the whistle. We'll mark it at the 6.
Yep.
15 seconds. Clock's moving.
15 seconds.
Somebody better be taking a timeout.
4, 3, 2. They're going to call a timeout
with 1 second on the clock.
And leave
oh my!
Field goal kicker.
Wow. So a timeout taken.
1 second.
On the clock.
Can you guys hear that?
And Laurel's going to try a field goal to win this ball game.
Well, I tell you what, the ball is not in the middle of the field now. It's on the right hash.
Oof. And it comes down to this.
1 second on the clock. Ball's at the 6-yard line on the right hash.
I guess you guys can hear Wayne.
About a 23-yard field goal.
Okay, thank you.
7 to that.
Let me see what 39 seconds in Brandon and Oak Grove.
Geronimo comes out onto the field.
Let me see what happens here. Is it win or overtime?
Here. And it will be a 23-yard effort from the right hash for Geronimo. And the Tomcats overload to the left side. And now we're going to have a timeout taken by the Tomcats.
Icing.
All right, let me switch over and see what.
I'm taking about 2 more if you can.
Well,
39 seconds left.
We got 1 left.
Yep. Hey, what a chance to tell you a huge thank you to everybody that made this postseason possible. Not just tonight, but every night, but especially tonight. You have Wiggins Pawn and Gun, You have the Frosty Mug. You have Ballman Auto Repair. You have Strickland Heating and Air, Stone County Enterprise, and a whole.
Well,
Another timeout taken by the Tomcats. So that'd be the final Tomcat timeout.
I was trying to see the Brandon is 31 seconds left. It's a tie game, 24-24.
And they'll talk about it. But Strickland Heating and Air, Stone County Enterprise, sideline shots. Terry and Janae doing a wonderful job with that. Representative Steve Lott, Terry Owen, Amy Smith, Christy Hendricks, Deanna Parker, Cynthia Breland, Tabitha Parker, Matthew Reno.
All right, here we go.
Julie Ladner, Kim Stringer, Andrew Parker, and Christy Creel. A 23-yard field goal for all the marbles here tonight. 21 apiece. A.L. May Memorial Stadium. There's a high snap, and that one is going to, it looks wide to the near side, but it is good. And Laurel has won the ball game. Wow. Man, oh man, oh man. And that's how the Tomcat season will come to an end as Geronimo makes.
We haven't seen him with a lot of opportunities tonight. In the season, for that matter. to return
Well,
punts.
let me hold on a sec.
Position him.
They're fixing to punt the ball, so you're not missing anything. Trying to get it. Hopefully, you guys, let me see, share that.
Get on the
So you
positive
should,
side
can see that. Again, Gulfport won. They will
around 10 seconds left to go in the
either
football.
go to Oak Grove, where this game is being played at, or Brandon, who's in the white. If they win, Gulfport will host Brandon. Of course, Brandon defeated Ocean
Eugene Clinton
Springs,
on the other side there, having a few words with the
and
official
now
on the far
Gulfport
sideline.
defeated Petal
20-yard
tonight.
line. Not sure what he is
This is for
having
a trip to the
discussion
South State Championship.
like they're trying
Picayune
to
did win
reset.
convincingly.
But we're gonna
Poplarville
add a couple of seconds on the clock.
won convincingly with Key 7 rushing touchdowns.
Really don't know what the issue is.
I thought we were waiting for the TV timeout. Didn't know what was going on.
Well, we've got two officials down here trying to figure out the clock.
We still have
Down, I think both of them
Pascagoula.
on TikTok
They had an
themselves.
injury in that game, and that's delayed. But Hattiesburg is winning 35-14,
They
and
put
with
27
Picayune
seconds on the
winning,
clock, so
So we've added 4. I think they were trying to figure out how to add 4 seconds.
Picayune will
That's
travel
gonna be
to
tricky down
Hattiesburg
there.
for South State. That's a rematch of last year's game.
So Childs
Hattiesburg went to
away.
Picayune
High
to win.
snap.
Uh-oh.
And
Is there?
Oak Grove runs into the punter Childs.
Did they throw a flag?
That'll be a penalty on the Warriors.
They did throw a flag. Pass Christian
And
did.
a personal foul running into the punter as Childs is down. And he will need attention. So a Hattiesburg Medical Supply injury timeout.
Well, guys, I think when they saw the high snap, they thought they may have had an opportunity, but at that point, you just have got to stay away. Unless it goes over his head, at least give you guys a chance on offense to win this one.
Did you guys see it? Do we have a replay? I mean, was it?
No, the ball was shown up in the air, but he did run into him. I mean, there was no doubt there was contact.
Another look here on the glide trailers instant replay. It was indeed. It was
I'm assuming you guys can hear the broadcast
ran into Childs.
as I'm
It looks like Childs is
updating scores.
get off on his own.
Poplarville does win 55-20. That will be a rematch of last year. South State. They will travel to Columbia, who's 13-0, 41-6. They took out Pass Christian.
Kind of wish those other 3 seconds weren't added back onto the clock. As we've seen, Brandon's kicker, a very good field goal kicker, could probably hit from at least 40.
Again, Pascagoula is still playing. They are losing 35-14.
Ball will be placed, looks like at just inside the 35-yard.
And I believe you'll probably can hear their broadcast.
I want to welcome all the faithful from down in Gulfport dialed in our broadcast already. Got a couple of text messages. Appreciate Coach Barna.
So 5:49. I don't know if you guys heard that. 5:49 left to go in the Hattiesburg Pascagoula game, and Hattiesburg leads at 35-14.
So 1st and 10 after.
I'm sure Gulfport Admiral fans.
Punter penalty. So
yes, Gulfport did win. It was slightly concerned because I was getting updates where they were winning, I think 13-0 or something. Then it was all of a sudden 13-10, I believe, and then 45-10. Gulfport went away with it. They didn't stream their game. I was getting updates from Hunter Dawkins, who hopefully will join tonight on this post-game show.
30-second break. Be back after this.
But Gulfport will play the winner of this game, Brandon.
Go see Lincoln Gatwood and his staff at Recommended Collision. Not only do they provide superior repair,
All kind of motion there.
And you see there,
That'll be a 5-yard penalty.
unfortunately, it just not the game tonight. Pass Christian got cooled off by a great Columbia team, and Pascagoula, one of the hottest teams there, putting up points and not allowing points, has taken it here. I mean, there's still time. There's still over 5 minutes, I believe.
Meant a lot that you've been able to step in
And you probably can hear the Brandon. I'm fixing to switch it back over to the Brandon game.
Well, I got news. I've been out of it tonight.
Well, Bill gets flushed. He's running. Throws it away. Smart play.
Vic, send it into overtime. So looks like the Bulldogs.
So you said they're going to just go into overtime. Man, oh man, oh man. That's exciting. Some overtime football.
So we will take a quick
1-minute
break, and we'll come back after.
Let me mute them, and we'll go here to Pascagoula.
And you mentioned Miss Sheets and Dallas earlier.
I think there are around 5 minutes left in this game.
Still on his feet. Makes the ball to like 11. Maybe
Let's see what other finals that we.
It'll be a first down.
As far as coast finals.
You mentioned Miss Sheets in Dallas.
Oh yeah, Miss Sheets in Dallas. Miss Sheets on the camera, and Dallas is handling today. She usually calls out my sponsors and gets active on the air, but tonight she has been the technical support, handling all the computer stuff. So that's awesome there.
Jackson gets outside. If he gets in, did he get in?
I don't think he did, but I think he was close. They're going to say he went out about the 2-yard line. Pickett and Carter.
Maybe we do have the scores. The only score we don't have that, like a Wayne County Brookhaven, but that really doesn't matter since Stone lost. Stone would go to Brookhaven, and they were beating Wayne County. Let me see and they're still in commercial on the other game. So all the scores are final, except for this one as far as coast teams. With Gulfport winning, Picayune winning, they will go to Hattiesburg unless Pascagoula could make some kind of miracle comeback. Stone lost to Laurel. You saw it there. 1 second left. They kicked a field goal. Laurel did 24-21. Columbia all over Pass Christian 41-6. Poplarville Ty Keys 7 rushing touchdowns. And that's official. Unofficially, I did write down it was 429 yards on 20 carries. Ty Keys for Poplarville. They will travel to Columbia for a rematch there for South State. So right now, as far as Gulfport, let me see what it's still a
As
commercial for
quarterback
Brandon.
president?
2.5, almost 3.
2.5, almost 3. You gonna stay?
Yeah, on that Brand, I was watching that game. That was, man,
You see them doing it
that was
now.
tough for
Trying to get
Stone.
ready for next time.
Jackson, touchdown action, Jackson.
And guess what, Harold? That's another record. That's a record for Jackson. He makes the all-time leading career rushing touchdown record, breaking Rooster Jones's 1976 record.
Okay, so he tied it. The last one was a tie.
That's right.
This one, that's awesome. You know, and that's another thing. These records have lasted 40 plus years, and for
Hey, Pascagoula, I have to see how much time is left. I would think it's over 4 minutes. They just had a long injury timeout. I believe it was a Hattiesburg player that was. They brought an ambulance out. Unfortunately,
enjoyed watching him.
You know what's interesting, Harold, is over the past 5 years,
still
we've
two
seen
score
40
game.
and 50-year-old records fall. We've seen Keelan Parnell break the all-time touchdown record. Followed by that,
hoping they'll give how much time is left.
Tied Keelan Parnell.
But we're going to go back to the Brandon game.
All of the passing records. Then
Ball tripped up. He will lose 5 yards on a little trickery.
There it is, Brent. Overtime. Let me mute because you're probably hearing. It's overtime. Brandon went for 2 to tie the game with about a minute or so left, I believe. So again, Gulfport winning tonight. They're in South State. Oak Grove wins, Gulfport will go to Oak Grove. If Brandon wins, Brandon will go to Milner Stadium at the last game at Milner Stadium, as they'll have a new stadium on campus in Gulfport. I'm sure Gulfport fans and team coach obviously want Brandon to win. You want to play South State at home. That would be something.
Yeah, he wouldn't. No way he could have come up with that football. That one sailed on Kellen. Just nobody open.
Okay, so if you heard it, it's 3rd down. You hold them here, they kick a field goal, unless they decide to go for it. But they get the ball first. This is the first possession in overtime. Again, all the and Hattiesburg say just scored. They're kicking an onside kick, and they didn't get it. Hattiesburg's winning 35-20. It's
pulls it down.
Man, that's a long time. Oh, he's out of bounds. Yeah, he was out of bounds. So a long play to hold those receivers.
Yeah, he was really just coming from across the field. Hall was looking for Millsap but couldn't get open. And again, there's Weary, but he's about 2 yards out of bounds. So now it will be a commercial stationary.
They're going to kill field goal. So again, this is the first overtime. Oak Grove got the ball first. So Brandon will get the ball and obviously score. They win the game, field goal. They go to another overtime, or if they turn it over, see what he does here.
As you can see there from the left hash, Keller to snap it back to Millsap. He's got it down. Kick is up, and it is good. So the junior, Cooper Miller, comes up big as you see him pound his chest as he hits from 31. And now it'll be up to the Warriors defensively to stop.
So we're going to get back to them in just a sec. You're not going to miss that. Trying to see how much time is left here. I believe I guesstimate it's over 3 minutes. But you see,
I don't know what it was, but
Hattiesburg is already in Pascagoula territory. I mean, just 2 scores down, but they really haven't been in it. They just scored Pascagoula. And I'll switch it back over for the.
Robinson lines up behind center. And right on cue, Lance, just as you called it.
So the score, they're up by 3, Oak Grove, in overtime. If a touchdown, Brandon will win. They will go to Gulfport.
Get down to the 3-yard line. And the Bulldogs.
There, you can see the score. They got it corrected. 27-24, Oak Grove. And neither team has won a state championship. That is Brandon nor – well, yeah, Gulfport Oh, yeah.
And I would expect the same play or just Robinson to pull it out of the belly of Campbell.
Wide side here on the near side.
Robinson, touchdown, ball game.
That's it.
And Brandon takes it. Final score, Bulldogs 30, Oak Grove 27. That'll do it for Oak Grove, as the Bulldogs will head to South State, as they will head down 49 to take on Gulfport at home next Friday night.
All right. Let me see if I can get the Pascagoula. And did I lose sound? Let me see. Hold on just a sec. I did. I had it muted. Let me share it. The Pascagoula. It's the last game, and they're running late because there was a injury to a Hattiesburg player. Let me share it. There we go. So Gulfport will host South State. And not played South State since Prince sang 1999.
31
Party
seconds
like it's
left in this game.
1999.
Hattiesburg with the first and goal. I'm not sure what the Hattiesburg coach is upset about, but he's spent more time on the field, I think, than some of his players.
Let me finish up.
Clock's running. 2:16 left in the game.
He'll be tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Things are getting chippy out there for sure. Another helmet comes off.
Yeah, you can tell it's about time this one be done. And look, Harold, you mentioned doing this for 17, 18 years. There may be some changes on our coaching staff next year. There may be some things happen, so we may be bringing Panther football to you next year with some changes to the Pascagoula Panther football program next year. So stick with us, stay with us, and we'll see how the next season turns out. So always going to be a Panther, and hopefully we'll be back and better than ever in the 2026 season.
One thing I can tell you for sure, I will not be the treasurer next year. I will not be the treasurer of the Pascagoula Quarterback Club. I was quarterback club president for 4 years. I thought I was through with it. For the last 2 years,
I drug you in, man. I got you back with me.
So.
I appreciate you. It's been fun being able to be around you so much, doing all this stuff. It's been, people don't understand that the quarterback club on a daily basis does something to help the team and the coaches and in the schools. It's not just a coming, every once in a while thing. It's a daily grind of trying to help these players and these coaches with this football program. So it's it's something that we do out of a love for the game and a love for the school and love for the players and coaches. And so if you're out there listening, thank you for all your support and those who donated and helped us out to make this season possible. We were fortunate this year to raise enough money to buy these new jerseys this year, help with the new athletic foundation, at the athletic department trailer, being able to do things to help support the team, from meals to equipment, all kind of things. So thank you guys for being a part of that with us.
You mentioned changes with the coaching staff. There's possibly going to be some changes with this broadcast also.
Yeah.
So,
and also the other broadcasts. I mean, we have a radio crew,
yep,
you know,
and radio broadcast
and
also.
there may be some changes there, and there. So things are, things either they evolve and they change or they die, and we don't want that to happen. We want them to keep getting good and better for our Pascagoula football career and our program. So we hope and pray good things come in the years ahead.
I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay. Tell you what, Scott was hit hard. Another helmet off.
Need to learn to buckle them things.
Got a minute, 11 seconds left.
So it looks like Hattiesburg will move on in this South.
Well, Pascagoula head coach
State
retire.
Play Picayune next Friday night. Rematch last year.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you what, but that's gonna be two really good football.
I don't know. He's the longest tenure, Coach
two different
Sims.
styles of play, but
yeah, and last year, Hattiesburg actually beat Picayune to go to the state championship. Lost the state championship game, but they made it to the Big House.
Coach Sims is the longest tenured head coach on the coast, 18 years.
Hattiesburg lining up, kick a field goal.
This is the last game going as far as coast.
I believe it's going to be no good.
No good.
I think a buck 11 left. Minute 6.
Put that offense on the field one last time for
2025 season.
Yep.
So Hattiesburg will win. They will host Picayune. 35-20. So we will have in 7A Brandon at Gulfport, 6A Picayune at Hattiesburg. Fortunately, Stone lost tonight, 24-21. 1 second left on the clock. They kicked a field goal. I think it was probably 23 yards.
Backfield by himself.
Laurel.
6 seconds left.
Columbia beat Pass Christian. Poplarville all over Macomb. So Poplarville will travel to Columbia. So we have Poplarville, Picayune, Gulfport left out of the 7 teams. We're going to have 6 at the most because Hancock played Picayune. So out of the 6 teams, we have 3 left. 2 on the road, 1 at home.
That should be a 15-yard penalty there.
I'm just tidying up behind the scenes here.
Walk a little slow out of that tackle. He's back.
Yes, Gulfport has really come a lot. Tammy, let me see what question you were asking about. What score?
Hope they don't jump it.
But Jackson,
Jackson going to go out of bounds about the 45-yard line. They're going to give him the 47.
We look to effort some.
back to pass. Throws it deep,
Nunnery
about 5
was
yards
the intended
outside.
receiver. Tell you what, these last couple of minutes have just drugged.
They have. Now Haynesburg's going to call a timeout. Seriously? With 35 seconds left in the game. I mean, look, I don't understand. I love high school football, but at some point you got to go, okay, that's doesn't make sense. There's 35 seconds left in this game.
If you heard, it was 35 seconds left in the game. Again, they had an injury for Hattiesburg. I want to say where I didn't see the injury, but they had brought the ambulance out. And what Harold had said that he was moving his extremities. So that's a good sign, but that's the only thing we got.
To the top of the screen. Nunnery down here at the bottom. Norvell in the backfield by himself. Going to take the ball straight up the gut. Going to bring the ball to about the 31-yard line. Colin Wilson, the intended receiver.
They're on the interception.
Going to be an interception. Tyler says he had it.
Tyler says
I'd like to think he did, but referee had a better angle at it than we did for sure.
Yep.
Got 15 seconds left. Again, let me thank all of our season sponsors. Appreciate it. We can't bring Pasco High School football to the Pasco community without your support, and y'all have really stepped up. And we appreciate the people that have tuned in. Hey, Mr. Sims, every game you have tuned in. We have I've called your name a couple of times because you're one of our biggest fans. I hate that the season's going to come to an end this way, but it comes to an end to everyone in our in 6A ball, with the exception of one team.
That's right.
So another flag comes out. Let's just get the ball snapped, take a knee. It's been a interesting season.
It has, man. Look, I'm going to say this. I'm proud of you. I thank you for what you've done for all these years and what you've done in Pascagoula football. You've done this tirelessly. You've done it losing pay at work, overtime, and and just in vacation. And so, look, you've done a lot to volunteer Pascagoula football. And I thank you very much for what you
Well,
do.
it's been my pleasure. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I couldn't, I wouldn't have missed it for the world. I mean, I tell everybody all the time that atop of War Memorial Stadium, up there on top of that press box, is the best seats in the whole dead gum house.
Best seats in the city, I think.
Oh yeah.
All right, then we're fixing to be done here.
I don't understand why we can't just be done with this game. That coach on the Harrisburg sideline, I don't know that cat, but he's interesting to watch. I'll say that.
There's Hunter.
Hello. How are you, my friend?
All right. I'll just
I don't have
30.
long because I have to get on scoreboard in about 15, 20, probably about 20 minutes. But yeah, I'll talk with you for just a second, and I'll come back on.
Okay, yeah, I already am efforting one of the winning coaches, and it's not Coach Pinnock for right now. I will do that, but yes, because I'm sure he's obviously celebrating, especially as I had on the live stream watching the Brandon game. They came back, went for 2 points, and then won in overtime. So that's good for there to get that now first South State championship game since
In 26
1999.
years. Yeah, 26 years, first one in the 21st century.
Yes, well deserved. They've been playing pretty good, and I know you were giving me updates as far as the fans who don't know. Hunter, is Gazebo Gazette, and he calls on G96.7 the Gulfport Admiral games, and he was giving updates. And I think it was like 13-0 early, and the next thing I know was 13-10. It's like, oh no, not they. It was still early, but they made a little comeback there, and then it ended up being 45-10. So,
Well,
nowhere close.
Petal never in the second half. They never crossed midfield without a penalty. Now there were 3 15-yard penalties, personal fouls, which I don't know how. I mean, but the referees called them, and that being said, that was the only reason Petal didn't hardly move the ball at all in the second half. They tried. They did successfully complete a couple of big plays, to start off, but they got the ball at midfield, and then that was it. It was there wasn't really anything. They had some false starts, a couple of incompletions. Their quarterback got a concussion, I believe. He got hit really hard a couple times by Gulfport, and just it just didn't work out for Petal moving the ball down the field. They were already down by 3 touchdowns in the second half, so they needed to score, and they just didn't. And it was it's unfortunate, but that's what happened. And Gulfport defense just showed up and played out. That's the best I've seen Gulfport defense probably play all year. And the only reason Petal scored a touchdown was by Parker Nettles throwing a botched pass that was tipped, and their defensive or outside linebacker intercepted the ball and ran it in for a touchdown. Other than that, Petal never had the ball in good enough position to be able to score a touchdown.
Man, yeah, it again was getting updates from you, and it wasn't close at all. And we should be joining by, I was going to say, any moment we're going to be joined, and here he is now. We'll bring on Picayune head coach, Coach Stogner. Glad you could join us, Coach Stogner, as Picayune, did his job 52-20. I mean, your team is just rolling. How do you feel now? Yet your 5th South State championship game coming up next week.
Oh man, I'm just so proud of our kids. Just fighting hard, and just this long season's a grind, and we had a wake up call 2 weeks ago, and they got back after starting last Monday, and just it's been a fun time around here in Picayune, and just can't say enough about how proud of these coaches and players.
Yeah, of course you had played Hancock again. You beat them earlier in the year, a few weeks ago, October 17th, 59-28. Tonight, 52-20. They just, I mean, I figured they were going to give you trouble in the passing game, but your defense, they had miscues, and aforementioned, as Zay Dennis, I mean, that's unbelievable what he did tonight. Of course, takes the guys up front blocking, but I think it was an all-around good game as far as your defense, got the turnovers and got the stop inside the 10-yard line. So, I mean, did you game plan differently, obviously, than the first game? I mean, you won easily, again, 59-28, but there was a couple changes I'm assuming you made maybe in facing them again?
No, it was just more want to and willpower is all it was. We're starting to play some of our best football right now, and it's a good time to do it. So, like I said, Coach Hayes' staff of defense, you guys have been they've been criticized a pretty good bit a lot this year, but they stepped up and answered the bell as best they could in the last 2 weeks, and just really proud of them for how they prepared and how they've been working. And it was a total team effort. I mean, we get a turnover on special teams, a turnover on defense, and we were able to capitalize on a lot of things on offense. So it was just a total team win, and these guys have earned it.
Yes, they definitely have. I know Hunter was at the Gulfport game that he's on here. Hunter, do you have a question for Coach Stogner? I know you didn't see the game.
Yeah, Coach Stogner, my main question for you would be more or less, Picayune has been a successful football program for the past really 40 years, and they've built their team from the ground up. My question to you guys is how you teach these young kids how to play in these big games. I mean, everybody can understand of your offense and being able to understand the wing T system and going it from their recreational ball on up. But how do you turn it when these kids play in the playoffs that they can make a difference even with a young group that you have?
It all starts with the senior leadership. I mean, like Matt said, this is our 5th year in a row in the South State Championship week, 3rd week of the playoffs. So it all comes down to those senior leaderships, and then just being able to, let these young guys know how we prepare. Look, it's all about the belief system too. There's a lot of people around here, they believe in what we do, and the players. The most important thing is the players believe in what we do. They believe in what the coaches are telling them, and that's what it is. It's a player-led team right now. Like it's over the last couple of weeks, we've seen this team become a player-led football team, and I really believe it. When you got a player-led football team, you have a chance to do something special.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Coach. Again, it's a rematch from last year, obviously, when you guys was there at Picayune,
Nope,
and
I
you
lost
39. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh.
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Coach Stogner?
Hello?
Can you hear me? What happened to my? Can you hear me, Hunter?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I don't know. We might have. Can you? You might have to go off and go on again. I don't know. It happened earlier. Yeah, we'll see if he'd go off and go on again. I don't know what. But yeah, Coach Stogner. Hopefully he can make it back on. I don't know why. It might be just. I mean, in Picayune, but we shall see. But a great win. I was going to say, a rematch of last year against Hattiesburg, as he hosted Hattiesburg last year, and they ended up losing to them in that game, and now they travel to Hattiesburg. So, I'm sure he's looking to get his swagger back, to say, hey, and Hattiesburg, took it to Pascagoula tonight, one of the hottest teams that I felt, since they lost to Picayune. Let me see if we get him back on here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I got my
Yeah.
phone ringing off the hook, and this
No.
something's happened to hit me off. I don't really know what's up with it.
No, everybody's texting, everybody's congratulating.
Yeah.
Hey, it's to make it to practice on Thanksgiving week. You know how it's like I say, it's a privilege. I mean, it's great. Again, your fifth time going in. You're 2-2. Last year, Hattiesburg came down and beat you guys in Picayune. So now you get to go up to Hattiesburg, and they did take care of Pascagoula, which is a very hot team there. They were able to take care of them tonight. So. As far as, and I said a revenge factor, I mean, yes, you're 2-2 in South State, and your team seems to be healthy and rolling on all cylinders here. How do you feel, heading into? I know you just got done with the game. You guys will start preparing, on Sunday?
Yeah, we'll start preparing. Well, actually, we'll start preparing as soon as we can, probably tomorrow sometime. We're going to enjoy this tonight, and it's just right. We always want to say we want to win our last game, and right now, so far, tonight was our last game. We're going to enjoy this one because we're 1-0 this week. But when we hit the Pella, we're going back to 0-0. We got to be 1-0 next week, so we're going to get to work tomorrow, and mainly on Sunday, get a lot of our game planning on Sunday. And like you said, practice during Thanksgiving week is nothing but football, man. It's high school kids to experience that. It's something awesome. It's kind of like they get to be like almost like a college football player on some of these long weeks and off like in Christmas time and stuff when it's just football. So, but I'm just what I mean. Look, obviously we know what happened last year, but this is a different football team. We always just say it doesn't matter who we're playing. We're going to line up and we're going to do what we do and try to do the best we can at it.
Yeah, I mean, just a running back factor, with Zay Dennis there. I mean, I wrote down 21-yard, 97-yard, 24-yard, 76-yard touchdown, 5 rushing touchdowns that I counted for over 300-something yards. But I mean that,
They had a 94-yard touchdown called back.
Yes, I did see that one too. I mean, he's just a junior, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Man, that is just. I mean, that is awesome. There. How much do you have your hands into the middle school? I mean, I know you're not coaching middle school, but do you not? I mean, because those are the players your future.
Yeah, our middle school is right across the street from us. I got a great middle school staff. They believe in what we do, and they teach them at a young age. And I've got 4 guys down there I trust with everything I have. And our 8th grade actually won the 8th grade championship this year. So we got a lot of talent down there. But the thing is, I got great leaders down there that's getting them prepared to move on when they get into high school. And yeah, we've got. I've got a lot of credit goes to all these guys that I have with me here. Just putting these kids and trying to be successful, not just in football, but everywhere else in the classroom and everything like that. So I'm blessed. I'm blessed more than I should be that be surrounded by great men.
Yes. And what about, Mr. 6A? I mean, you got to be proud of that. Your offensive lineman, Michael Smith, that's his name. I mean, Mitchell Smith, I'm sorry. He's committed to the state school, is he not?
Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, besides a running back factor, you've had Mr. 6A's, from Dante to now. I mean, it's just, you just got it rolling there. I mean, it's great. I know, you built it, I know when you left off with Coach Dodd Lee, but you've been there and just had made, hasn't missed a step. I mean, I haven't missed a step. I was there both games on the field when you won the state championship, and look forward to getting back up there to Mississippi State this year and that first weekend of December. And I know South State is still yet to come. To leave you on one note, what, as far as when you're done with the game and you settle down, what stat do you look at, or do you go to a stat and say, this is the one that we, do you look at certain stats at the end of the game, one particular stat?
The score. Did we win?
Besides,
but no, obviously we go back. Like, I like to look at it all. I like to see our rushing yards. And the big thing we like to do is look at our grades. I got my staff. They do a lot of grading on Saturdays, and I get to see their grades on. We grade offense and defensive players along with our special teams players, and missed tackles. We always want to see missed tackles, and who made the most tackles throughout the game, and just all in out. Like, I just want to see if our effort. I want to see if the effort plays. That's the biggest stat I want to see, is make sure we don't have any lows and make sure we're giving great effort for every chance they got out there to get in 48 minutes.
Yes. Well, again, congratulations on the win. I know it's not easy. It's not, especially in the playoffs against Hancock, a team that beat West. At West Jones, they were looking to come and take you with Casey Cannon. He's a phenomenal player, but you guys just again 52-20, and you're heading to your 5th South State. So good Thanksgiving week as you're used to practicing, and I certainly appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we'll have you on after next week's win.
Yes, sir. Hope to see you guys then.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Like I say, his fifth state South State championship, and they, get to go and play Hattiesburg in Hattiesburg, kind of a back-to-back a revenge game from last year, where Hattiesburg did beat Picayune on their way to lose in the state championship. That is Hattiesburg last year. So I think, how much longer that you what was it, 39-35?
I've got about 10 minutes left, so.
Okay.
But I'll be back. I'll be back after about 11. But I've got about 10 minutes. I have to be on the scoreboard. So.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try to see. Coach Beach is, of course, coming back. Yeah, it's coming back from Macomb. I mean, he may still be able to. I could check and see. And of course, Coach Pinnock there to see what he has. I don't know if there's any play-by-play guys who want to come on.
Yeah, Coach Pinnock, they're still down at the field pretty much. When I was leaving, they were still out on the. They hadn't even left the bus yet, so.
Yeah, that's why they need their stadium on campus, huh? So they'll be right there.
Yeah, as you know, the Joseph Milner Stadium is across the other side of town.
From
their football complex. So, yeah.
But there's, with the new stadium, they're supposed to have a new stadium, Hunter. How can they?
That's right. It's. Yeah,
that's
what I heard. That's what I heard.
I was gonna ask you.
Matt Walters, the AD, said once this season's done, we'll get started. And I said, okay, well, that's news for me. And I asked him, I said, when do y'all expect to have it done? We're expecting to be done September of next year. And so I was like, wow, okay, we'll see what happens. So, but this next game against Brandon for the South State Championship is going to be, according to Gulfport High, this will be the last football game ever played at Joseph Milner Stadium. So.
I know, and I'm tempted to go to the game, but
you should.
Well, I mean, next week
you can come sit up there with myself and Harold if you want, up in the booth. So
I know. Well, I mean, I like going on the sideline too, but.
Yeah,
no, I understand. But next week, like I say, you'll have Picayune at Hattiesburg and Poplarville at Columbia, or the other games. So, usually I'm here at my headquarters where I can, know what's happening on all the games. But I mean, it's the last game at Milner, and it's a South State championship. So,
that's right.
it might be. I might look to go, like I say, to be there.
It's certainly historical.
So I might try to effort to see who else we can get. I appreciate Coach Stodner coming on here again. He lost contact probably because everybody was messaging him, which is great. I mean, again, Hancock, a great season. We're trying to make it to the first South State ever. Casey Cannon, the senior there, a great season himself. Several other players or a lot of players there on Hancock. Coach King, his first year there as the head coach coming over from Greene County. And, of course, shared his stats along with Paris or Pascal Cheyenne. But, of course, Brett Favre shared the post that I made. Of course, Brett Favre played for Hancock when he played high school. So that was a good feeling for them, as he should, to shine the light on them, again, Casey Cannon. And again, there's other players on Hancock that definitely get the light shined on them. And then again, Pascal Cheyenne, unfortunately, they just ran into a high Columbia team. And I had one of the games, on the live stream, and they were They missed two touchdowns in the end zone. They dropped past Christian, which it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, but they haven't been doing that on this run. I mean, their best season ever.
Yeah.
11 wins is the most wins that they've ever had in the season. So, and they just ran into a Columbia team.
It's a return matchup of last year at Poplarville, Columbia, in the South State Championship.
Well, I was looking at that, and it's actually is not, from what I looked.
Really?
That's what people were saying, and I went to go look to try to get my notes and playoffs. I'm looking here at Poplarville last year. They played Columbia in the second round.
That's right.
It's a rematch. It's a rematch of 2023 when they played on November 24th, which is South State at Columbia. They lost 28-21.
Yeah.
There. So it wasn't last year. That's what I heard a couple people did say, a rematch there. It's not. They beat Columbia 21-20. It's close games when they do play. So now they'll go to Columbia, who Columbia again is undefeated, and they pretty much put the fire out of Pat Cristiano, Coach Stockstill, and company. They didn't have those. The ball didn't bounce their way tonight.
Well, and and it's tough, as Coach Stockstill and I have talked about repeatedly for the years that I've known him. It's tough to be able to compete with Southwest Mississippi teams and Pine Belt teams because they're not as. Even though I feel like, just like yourself, we have the best fans here on the coast. Sometimes the athletes are just it's just a little bit different there. And you can't really say no to that. So.
Yep. All right. Well, let's bring on our next guest. And if you have to leave, Hunter, I understand. Go on the show, but we're going to bring on South State bound Coach Pennock there with the Gulfport Admirals. No problem tonight, Coach Pennock,
right.
as you expected it to be a dominated game, or at least before the game you expected it to be. 45.
Yeah, man. Yeah. After the last 2 weeks, I don't know. At this point, they're hard to predict. I told our guys tonight after the game they just continue to amaze me. And Petal's a great football team, and Northwest is a great football team, and both those guys are really well coached and have playmakers all over the field. And we didn't give up we didn't give up a defensive touchdown tonight, and so you hated to have that 10 spot on the board, but man, just what a complete effort by all of them involved.
Yes. I was getting updates, from Hunter about you guys were up, I think 13-0 or something, and then it was all of a sudden he said a pick six, and it was 13-10, and I kind of got that. It was still early in the game, but I still got that feeling. Okay, Gulfport, don't let them come back like that, and then ended up being 45-10. Like I say, you didn't allow them to get an offensive touchdown. So
yeah, no, we jumped on them pretty good, and they got a field goal, and it was 14, made it 14-10, and got the pick six off a tip ball, which was just bad luck good play by the defensive lineman, because if he doesn't put his hand up, we had slipped inside on the slant on the RPO, and our guy was about to take it to the house.
Man.
And so, but anyway, we went right back down there and scored again to make it 21-10. And everybody kind of settled in from there.
That is great. This is going to be your second South State, if I looked it up correctly. You had one in 2022 when you were head coach with Osha Springs, and you lost.
It'll be my second. It'll be my second as a head coach. I've done it several times as an assistant at different places, but you gotta love coaching on Thanksgiving, man.
It does, and it so happens the other game you have to lose in 2022 is against Brandon, who they're coming down here. So I don't know if you were watching the end of that game. I was streaming it on my live stream where they went in overtime, took it to. Of course, you wanted Brandon to win because you wanted the host. The icing on the cake there, the last game at Milner. So.
I'll say this, man. We had a really cool moment. Just because with the game, our game getting over a little earlier, you had all the fans kind of stuck around on the stadium and on the field and such, and so everybody had their phones out game and everything. So when Brandon ran the last touchdown in to win the game, everybody started kind of celebrating for a whole game right at Milner, and that's just, I mean, with this being the last season at Milner, what a better way to send it off, with a home game
Man.
at South State with state championship appearance on the line.
Yes, most definitely. Hunter, do you have something for the coach?
Yeah, Coach. One of the things that I've had a bunch of people obviously talk to me, ask me questions, and it just keeps getting better. And I know you probably feel the same way in the trenches. Y'all just keep playing better and better each week that you go on. Really, ever since the loss to Petal back on September the 19th, ever since then, you guys have just been picking it up every game on the trenches. What are you doing? I mean, at least from trying to get these guys just to say, hey, let's just maintain what we've got. Let's just keep doing. You guys know you can outman these other guys. I mean, it's tough to really even tell you or ask you a question. Hey, what do you tell these guys to do? Just do the same thing? I mean, that's more or less my question to you.
Well, I mean, I think it starts in the weight room. It's the way you run your off-season stuff, and I mean, everywhere we've been physical, like at different our different stops along the way, and this is no different. I mean, you gotta be physical at this point in time of the year, and so I think that early on we had some young guys in some spots that was new to them for sure, and that was reflective in some of the way that they play, but we have great coaches here, man, and we really coach our guys up and spend a lot of time on technique and physicality, obviously, and being a key source of that. And it's something obviously we preach. I mean, we wanted to make Petal one-dimensional on offense tonight, and they still ran the ball well, but we were able to pin them and do some things to keep them off schedule and down in distance. And then obviously offensively, we shot every bullet. We didn't shoot every bullet, but we shot some bullets early in the game with some specials, some trick plays, things of that nature, to get some touchdowns on the board, and then turned around and handed that thing to number 5 and let him roll.
Yeah, Coach, really quick too. I got to ask you one question. The second touchdown you guys had to Hales.
That's a good one, wasn't it?
It was a trick play. Now, I noticed that you came out and talked to the officials, who I guess they had never seen that before under the MHSAA rules. What was the thing? Do you have to get to the receiver has to get to the numbers to stay in, or okay?
So the way it goes, it was a sequence play for us. We wanted to get it on their sideline and to run the play, and then we had a guy run a fade and then just kind of ran off the field, and then we put a guy over there and let him just forget about it. And it's within the rules. We talked to the referee crew about it early, before the game, to let them know. I double checked throughout the week to make sure that it was a legal play, because sometimes you get into deception and all that stuff, but that happens when you have different play. I got the exact right way to make sure that was a legal play. And so that's why they picked it up, because all our guy had to do was get inside the numbers and be set, and we were good to go.
You could tell that you knew what you were doing. I mean, it was more or less
100%. As soon as the line judge threw the flag, I was like, nope, y'all gonna pick that thing up.
That's what I was saying, because I literally couldn't. I mean, it definitely seemed like a deception going in there, but it was obviously great play, great call, Coach.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Yeah, Coach, like I say, 9 wins in a row, now 5th straight at home, looking to hopefully get to 10 and 11 wins to bring you to the gold ball. So, again, I'd look to possibly come to the game next week. I mean, you have the 2 other games that are not going to be on the coast, and the last game at Milner. So I may just be right there next to you on the sideline, helping you call the plays or something. But no,
hey, come up with some touchdown plays.
Yeah, seriously though, I do plan on. My initial is to be there, possibly to be on the sideline there to watch the Admiral the last game, and hopefully they get you over.
Let me know.
to get you over there. So I certainly appreciate you joining us. I know, you got still to go celebrate, where they have waffles and other things, and great to
Hey, I'm
have
just
you on for
glad you
this.
know, man. I'm glad you know at this point, man. We've been riding this roller coaster and riding this heater. We work hard, our coaches do, and we go enjoy it, and we'll get ready to go, burning up the phones tomorrow and getting the films and all that, ready to rock and roll.
Yes, it's well deserved. You guys put in the work, and it's just come, a great, since you lost to Petal, that revenge game there is gone. You got them, and I mean, you're just playing awesome. So look forward to practicing on Thanksgiving week. It's always a great thing to do, to be practicing during Thanksgiving. So
congratulations,
appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, we'll tune into the Coaches Show on Thursday.
Absolutely. That's
right,
Thanksgiving.
Coach.
It won't be on Thanksgiving Day. We'll do it a new day.
Hey, don't worry. I might give you a call on Sunday for the HD experience. So we'll see if you can make that. So
knock it out. All right, bub. Yeah. See y'all.
All right, thank you, Coach. All right, Coach Pinnock there for Gulfport. Like I say, first time in South State in 1999. That is Gulfport. This is his second South State title game as a head coach. As he mentioned, he's been an assistant coach there for several South State games. But he played when he was coaching Ocean Springs in 2022. They lost to Brandon 34-31 at home. So now he'll host Brandon at Gulfport's last game at Milner Stadium.
Well, and Matt, before I have to sign off here for just a minute, I'll just tell you this about, being at all their games. Something that you can notice more than anything, really, they have just out-trenched those guys. I mean, it's against Ocean Springs, against Pascagoula. I mean, these are good football teams that they're playing against. And it's evident, even tonight, it was evident that the Gulfport High Admirals were going to own. They just owned every single bit. There wasn't really even a hit on the quarterback at all. I mean, it was just literally owning the trenches, and everything from there. Once you own the trenches and the other team knows that you control what's going to happen, that's the game. That's literally the game right there. So.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I have to watch the highlights because again, they didn't stream their game, so I have to watch the highlights of how that game was. I know I got still pictures from me in game updates, but they just are playing a great ball. Obviously, making it South State, everybody's playing great ball as far as Picayune, Poplarville made it also, but 45-13, Harrison Central, the last regular game. What's that?
You can take all the pictures. You can take all the pictures you want from me. Just give my photographer credit. I'll give you everything that you need. But yeah, that's all good.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's the only thing I get to see is the still pictures from the game because it wasn't live streamed. So, and I understand, like say, you'll be going on the statewide show to shine the light there on Gulfport and on Coast Football. On what statewide show that you're fixing to be going on?
Scoreboard on supertalk.fm. They're linked on there. If you're in the Jackson area, it's on 97.3. But that being said, it's found on supertalk.fm. Anyway, but Matt, I'll be talking to you soon, my friend. I'll holler out at you, and we'll be talking soon.
Yes, thank you, Hunter. All right, Hunter Dawkins, Gazebo Gazette. There, well, I'm trying to effort some. Well, that wasn't what I wanted. So anyway, let me see. I'm trying to effort some other people on. If you guys have any questions, comments, again, the finals. Gulfport did win 45-10 over Petal. They will now host Brandon, who defeated Oak Grove in overtime, 30-27. Hattiesburg did defeat Pascagoula I don't know why I don't have that final written down. I have the final. 35-20. Hattiesburg defeated Pascagoula. Hancock did lose to Picayune. Coach Stogner was on. Appreciate Coach Stogner coming on there. He will go into the fifth South State championship game where he is 2-2. They will be at Picayune. Excuse me. They will be at Hattiesburg, as that is a rematch from last year. Hattiesburg defeated Picayune in Picayune. They went on to lose the state championship. That is Hattiesburg. I gave it to Hattiesburg. They got a new quarterback from the quarterback last year, had left, and they got a new head coach. So give it to Hattiesburg there for making it back to South State. The 5A game, the only team in the 5A was Stone hosting Laurel, and it was 14 each at halftime, and until it wasn't, and it was 21-21 until Laurel went all the way down inside the 5, if I'm not mistaken. Called timeout with 1 second left on the clock, and they kicked a field goal to win it 24-21. Stone's last game played at Perk at MGCCC, as they are having their stadium built right there up there in Wiggins near their school or at their school. So again, that's the last game they'll play at Perk. Just like Gulfport, last game will be at Milner Stadium next Friday, as they'll host Brandon in South State. Also, Brookhaven did win, so Brookhaven will host Laurel. They defeated Wayne County. Columbia extinguished the hot Pass-Christian Pirates. Their coach Stockstill, as they're making their way back down from Columbia. They did lose 41-6. It was 7-0 at halftime. Columbia, and all of a sudden, I blink, and it was 26-0, and it ended up being 41-6. The Pirates, 11 wins, most in school history, and now they are 0-2 in the semifinal games, as this was round 3 for 4A and below class. This was their third round. They played in 2023. They lost to Columbia then 32-7. So Columbia now will host Poplarville. Let me see. Trying to effort some other guest on here. Hey, if you're a fan, if you want to come on the show, because I don't know how much longer that I'll be on the show. It's always nice to have guests on here, but again, down the 7 teams coming into tonight, and again, Poplarville revenged the loss that they had earlier this season, 35-34 at Macomb. They win tonight, 35. That was at halftime. Why don't I have a full score down here, and I'll get it. It was 55-20. Poplarville does win. I was saying at halftime it was 35-12. Ty Keys on the night, unofficially, 20 carries, 429 yards, 7 rushing touchdowns. At halftime, he had 14 carries for 309 yards. And my guest, I know he's driving back from up north on the away game. So Poplarville will go and play Columbia. But again, Ty Keys, Mr. 4A, just a junior, unofficially 20 carries, 429 yards, 7 rushing touchdowns. I was writing down the touchdowns that he had, a 59, a 74, a 22, a 23, a 41-yard touchdown. And now they're playing South State at Columbia, where it wasn't last year. I've heard a couple times, even Hunter said earlier, it's a rematch from last year, South State. No, they beat Forest South State last year to go to the state championship in Poplarville. 2023 is when they were at Columbia, and they lost 28-21. They split the last 4 games. That is Poplarville and Columbia. So that will be indeed a great game there. the defense that Poplarville has, Columbia's offense. Again, they have won. Now they're undefeated. Their page was 13-0 now. They've won 12 straight regular season home games. They were 7-0 this year. Make it 8-0 with the win tonight over past Christian. That is Columbia. So Poplarville will move on to South State. Coach Beach. I was going to try to contact Coach Beach, but they're probably coming out from Columbia. From Macomb. Forget my city straight. From Macomb, Poplarville is. Excuse me while I'm trying to that did come on early. We watched the overtime game for those who joined us early. Let me cover that. Let me post that. So we had 7 teams coming in. We have 3 teams left out of the 7 that was coming in into tonight as far as coach teams. We knew where most we could have was 6. We have 3 remaining. 3 remaining. Oh. Let me see here. So the practice during Thanksgiving week is something that every team wants to do. They're playing a South State game again next. The state championship games that is pinned on the top of my page. I know I have this going out to X and on YouTube at Coast Football. Facebook is Gulf Coast High School Football, powered by Matt Stats. Thursday, December 4th, Class 1A. We have nobody in 1A at 4 o'clock on that Thursday. Class 5A, we now have nobody in 5A as Stone lost. Friday, 4A, Poplarville would play at 4 o'clock. They win next week. And then 6A, it would be Picayune. So what would that be? Last year, we had Poplarville play, and we also had Gaucher play. But it would be a back-to-back. Poplarville at 4 o'clock with Picayune at 7:30 on that Friday night. This all at Davis Wade Stadium in Mississippi State. That is Friday, December the 5th. Hopefully, they have to win South State. I'm just giving you the time. Saturday, December 6th, Class 3A is at 12, 2A is at 3:30, and then the last game of the championships, the last gold ball passed out, will be at 7 p.m., which Coach Pennock and company look to be there. As far as playoffs in Gulfport, they are 1-3 in South State. They did go in 1982. They started this format in 1981. 1982, they lost the championship game, West Point, 21-14. And so I went and looked at 1982 to see what teams were in that division. And it was actually 4 teams. It was Gulfport, Biloxi, Pascagoula, Moss Point. Gulfport was 11-3, Biloxi 7-4, Pascagoula 6-4, and Moss Point 3-7. And Gulfport won and went on. They posted an 11-3 record. They beat Warren Central 7-0, Meridian 9-7, and they lost to West Point 21-14. That was in 1982. The other 2 games, the last game they played at South State was 1999 at Provine. They lost 28-13. The other South State games, 1991, they lost hosting Moss Point 28-24. And we're in 1988. They lost hosting Warren Central 17-0. So they are 1-3 in South State games. But again, the last one, 1999, that they played in, that was just again a great team this year in Gulfport, where they lost to Petal and then they have not lost since. They've won 9 in a row. They're trying to get to 11 in a row, to meaning they hoist the golden football there. And also with Picayune, they will go to Hattiesburg, and Poplarville will go to Columbia all next Friday at 7 o'clock. And again, I'm really looking at leaving the headquarters here to go be at Gulfport. I was there. So I started calling high school football 2005 on the radio, and I have the not flyer, the book from the game, St. John and Mercy Cross, the media guide, the last game they played before they merged to make St. Patrick. So it must have been 2008 is when it was, and that was the last game. And where they played at Milner Stadium, between Mercy Cross and St. John. In fact, I don't know why I'm guessing. I will look it up. Don't call me stat man for nothing. The last game was 2006, and St. John Mercy Cross won 35-7. So again, I started calling it 2005 because of Katrina. Me and Wayne, I went with Wayne to call high school football game of the week on WAOY. But that was the last game there at Milner Stadium, St. John and Mercy Cross. And so now I look to go to be on the sideline, hopefully, and be up maybe in the press box here with Hunter for this Gulfport hosting Brandon the last time at Milner Stadium, as they will have a new stadium there on campus next year. Again, hard to believe. I guess they would be able to build it within a year. I know it's supposed to be state of the art. A Coach to Coaches show there with Coach Pennock. He has usually on Thursday, but yes, next Thursday is Thanksgiving. So we'll see when they have their coaches show on there. But I appreciate everybody joining us again. We were trying to effort one other person. So to see is again with the these, it's unfortunate that they're coming back from out of town, from Macomb. And Hunter went on the statewide show. And I know you guys just don't want to hear me yap, so I appreciate the over 500 people on the live stream, again on X. Yeah, I'll get yeah, David Pinnell, if I'm saying the last name right, I don't know if you listened to live stream, but he was posting about he was asking who was going to host with Brandon beating Oak Grove, and it will be Gulfport. If Oak Grove would have beat Brandon, Gulfport would be up at Oak Grove. But since Gulfport's the #1 seed and Brandon is not, they will host. Now, Oak Grove's the #1 seed. When you have two #1 seeds in the odd years, which is 2025, the lower region number hosts. So next year, Region 4 will host, as long as there's two #1 seeds. So again, I know my effort in this other coach. If not, then I'll just be signing off. I know fans are driving home. I know a lot of fans, their teams are done. But like I say, go and support these other teams that are out there. That are playing. It's a great chance. That's why we usually go up to the state championship game, even if there's not a coast team up there, just to see these other teams. But what a night for Picayune's running back. I didn't get his final numbers there, and I don't know if they can text them to me or not, Clay and them. But Zay Dennis, I mean, I had him 13 carries, 326 yards, 5 touchdowns. I don't know if that was the whole game or not, but at one point, and then Ty Keys again in the first half had 14 carries for 309 yards, and he had 6 rushing touchdowns. He added 1 in the second half, or I believe 2. Yeah, total of 7. Put it that way, 7 rushing touchdowns. That is Ty Keys, 20 carries, 429 yards at Macomb, and he's just a junior, Mr. 4A. And then you have Mr. 6A on the offensive line there at Picayune blocking up front for Zay Jones and Coach Stogner and them. They have, I mean, they just are rolling. You know, they took that loss against PRC, and they have not looked back, and they have taken care of business, and now they'll go on the road to Hattiesburg again, 2 number 1 seeds. Hattiesburg's in the Region 3. They host this year. If it was next year, Picayune would have hosted. In fact, Picayune hosted all the way through when they won their last state championship game. So certainly wish them, all of them, the best of luck here coming up, practicing this week. I know kids will be out of school. So fans, you guys, I know, come to the Gulfport game unless you want to travel up to Hattiesburg. It's not too far. Now, Columbia, that's where Walter Payton played at. I've been up there again calling a high school football game many years ago, in the stands, in fact. It's been a while. Of course, Picayune, last time they won back-to-back, and I was there on the sideline, and Hattiesburg 21-22, if defeated West Point both times. And then 23, they lost in that third round to West Jones, 42-13. They lost South State in 2023 to West Jones, and they lost South State last year again to Hattiesburg, 39-35. But they have won in 5 state championships. Now, technically, I started in 1981, this format, so that's what we count it for. They won in 86, 2011, 13, 2021, 2022. They did win in 1925, 1948, but in this format that started in 1981, that's what we count the gold balls. So they are tied with Moss Point with 5 state championships. I'm just going to give a few more minutes on if any other guests. Yes, Sandra, I appreciate you still up here watching me on the live, along with over 500 people there, trying to effort some people to come on the show. But yes, the loss by a field goal, it was disappointing. They would have to travel to Brookhaven, but still to go to South State. And Stone has a lot of history in coast football. They have a lot of records that people just don't realize. You know, most region wins in a row is at 33. They have most region titles in a row at 6. Of course, Picayune now has 5. They tie them obviously next year. But yes, Sandra, they are great players. Noel comes to mind there. They have some young players. Coach Acock, we had him on last week on the live. Great defense, come from Poplarville, and he's been the head coach there at Stone now his 4th year. I'm getting old, so I forget something. And when I'm dead and gone, hopefully somebody will carry on this coast football tradition. He is, let me see, he's 2023, so this is his 3rd season in back-to-back playoffs making it. It was 3-7, then 6-6, and 8-3. So their best year for Stone, and that defense of Stone was certainly legit. Again, this will all finish with the state championship games at Mississippi State on that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Again, it's pinned to the top of the Facebook page. We'll just give just a couple more minutes if you have any questions. Again, Coach Pinnock was on here, Coach Stogner. I did ask Coach Beach from Poplarville if he could join us, and of course the play-by-play of Poplarville. I did ask Jason Baker, who does the voice of Poplarville. To see, again, they're driving back, so it's understandable. Or he would be on there. I did ask a couple other play-by-play guys to come on from their teams, but they have not yet responded, so that's fine. That's understandable as a play-by-play guy myself, especially traveling back from the road on there. So I don't know if Hunter's going to try to come back on here as it's reaching 11 o'clock. Normally we stay on to 12, but normally we have twice as many games. We have several different hosts, guests, and I can just jabber on. And if you guys have any questions, I can throw out stats and spit stats out for you. Again, Gulfport will play in the South State Championship game. They will host Brandon the last time, 1999, that they hosted that they played in the South State Championship. Of course, being a stat man, so now I'm looking, did they host that game or not in 1999? I'm fixing to find out if they did or not. 1999, they did not host. So the last time they hosted a South State Championship game was 1991 versus Moss Point. So there's your answer. I asked and answered. So I'm just responding to a guest. So for those who earlier, I'm looking at Facebook that when I said Pascagoula was running late because a player got hurt and they brought an ambulance out there, and I'm reading now from Pascagoula High School, quarterback Jarrett Loper was injured earlier this evening during the game against Hattiesburg. He was taken to the hospital. I said an ambulance came out there via ambulance. We're pleased to report x-rays and CT spine were all negative. He is currently being released from the hospital, and it actually has a picture of him giving a thumbs up. So I didn't, for one, know it was him. But thank goodness that he is fine. I mean, that is great news there, Jarrett Loper. He stepped in at quarterback. He placed both sides of the ball and really elevated that Pascagoula offense along with the defense of side of the ball. So I'm just going to share that on the page. So again, that was Loper there. As Pascagoula did lose tonight at Hattiesburg. Tough place to go up there and win. They had won 2 straight road games. Hattiesburg had won 5 straight home games. And Hattiesburg shut out PRC the week before. And I'll forget about those teams, and I'll make a post about it of all the teams that made the playoffs, 14 teams that started the playoff season. PRC was one of them. Coach Feaster, we had him on the show. Always a great interview. Wish we had more coaches on the show, and we may look to do that next year as we go bigger and better. But the Panthers did lose there. Again, they were on a 5-game winning streak. 214 points they've scored and gave up 33 with 2 shutouts. I give it to Hattiesburg that did what they had to do to get the win over Pascagoula 35-20. And they will now host Picayune. They will host Picayune. Let me see about getting, let me check to see what exactly all the North and South. So in 7A, the Final Four are going to be Oxford versus Tupelo. Tupelo, I hear, is, of course, you know about them. I mean, a great team in Oxford. Lane Kippen's son is the quarterback for Oxford. So Oxford at Tupelo is the north half. And then, of course, south is Brandon at Gulfport, which, again, I'm going to share those. 6A, north half is Ridgeland at Warren Central. And then south is Picayune at Hattiesburg. That is 6A. 5A is Holmes County at West Point, and south is Laurel, who beat Stone tonight, at Brookhaven. 4A, Kazakasco, I'm probably butchering that, at Louisville, and Poplarville at Columbia for the south. That's in 4A. In 3A, we only have 2 teams in 3A. That was St. Patrick, St. Stanislaus. North half is Noxubee County at Winona for the north and 3A, and South State is Seminary at Riley there in 3A. 2A, north is Kemper County at East Webster, and south is Mize at Heidelberg. We don't have no teams on the coast even in 2A. So that's your 2A matchup, north and south. In 1A, we do have Resurrection. Of course, they didn't make the playoffs. North half is Calhoun City against Biggersville, and South State, Taylorsville Tartars at Simmons. That is all the classes there. Again, it will be December 4th, 5th, and 6th at Davis Wade Stadium at Mississippi State. So be there or be square. Yeah, Sandra, we'll bring you on the live. I'm glad to be able to do this. Again, the excitement of being here. I know I would like to be at the game, certainly do, but I get so much more information. Even tonight, I was watching Pascagoula, Stone, Picayune. I was listening to Poplarville on the phone as the Talking Ball app, the free app, listening to them on there. I was watching Brandon and Oak Grove because, of course, that affected, Gulfport. As long as Gulfport was going to win. Gulfport didn't live stream their game. I was getting updates from Hunter. So I certainly thank you for saying that. I certainly try to bring a post each night. I try to bring a post, during the day, on Saturday, on Sunday, Monday to Friday fallout. I'll have Tuesday. I had the Tuesday top 10. That is no longer. I did post last Tuesday all the rankings throughout the whole season, preseason. It's the only place where you're going to find the rankings for all the teams, 25 teams that we have here on the coast now with Christian Collegiate joining. Wednesday was a recap with the records, not a recap, but what's coming to games on Friday, which is the rankings, the records. And then Thursday, game predictions. Normally I don't do playoff predictions. I want the coast teams to win. Plus, they're non-coast teams, and it's hard, to dig and take the time because I do work Monday through Friday. So to take the time to dig up information, I'm just not going to throw out numbers just to say it. And yes, I try not to lean toward. I picked Columbia to beat Pass Christian. I was hoping I was wrong. Hope Pass Christian would win. Picayune, I had them over Hancock, and that's during the regular season. If I happen to pick a team and it's against a coast team, I want to be right. I want the coast team to win, but I want to be right. I'm not just going to pick them just because that I have a shot at. I did pick Pascagoula just the way, again, the way they've been playing. And I know Hattiesburg tough at home, but Pascagoula, I mean, it was numbers and it was some feelings to it, but 214 points they've scored in the 5-game winning streak and gave up 33 with 2 shutouts. They were on fire. Again, how much do I know of Hattiesburg? I look into the stats, watch some film. I don't have access to Huddle. If there's a coach out there or a team that can give me access to Huddle, I certainly appreciate it. I would show the highlights. In fact, I don't know. I might can show. Do we have highlights of from WXXV or WLOX? But anyways, I share on tonight after the games. I share, if you guys didn't know, or that I share WXXV's highlights on Friday night. After tonight, I share the highlights. And I do see that they have the Stone game. And then Saturday, I share WLOX highlights. They have 3 parts. They on behalf of Matt DiArio and his co-host there have a 3-part show. So I share that on Saturday. If you guys ever noticed, WXXV tonight, WLOX. I have no affiliation with any news media. I have no affiliate. They don't pay me. They don't ask me. I share. That's how I share it. And then Sunday, I come up with some kind of stat to share. And then Monday, again, I go through all that, as I just mentioned. Let me see. That's loud there. Let me see if I can share. Let me see if I can do this. Let me cut the music down on here. So this week still got, like I say, over 500 people on here. In football, we only have next week, with the South State and then the state championship. So I go live on the state championships I did before at Picayune, Poplarville, and hopefully Gulfport will be there. Let me see about sharing the screen. Let me see. Okay. Hold on a sec. I haven't seen these highlights. So again, I'm fixing to share them. Let me see. I watched the game, but let's listen. Tell me if you can make sure you can hear it. If you can't, let me know.
Stone Tomcats looking to take down Laurel and advance to South State to continue an incredible season. We've got another pair of familiar foes in the playoffs, but this Stone team is hoping that this can be the year it goes all the way up to Starkville, of course. Laurel getting the ball first and going forward on 4th down. Tomcats wrangling the Golden Tornadoes like they're Glenn Powell or something. Tomcats going to roar early. Jaden Collins getting the ball and fighting forward for a solid pickup. He's one tough kid, as you can see here by how tough he is. Very next play, Xander Howard dropping back, but seeing no man open says, well, I guess I'll just take it myself. Not sure if he was expecting to run all the way down for the first score of the night, but boy, is he pumped up about it. Stone takes the 7-0 lead on the first drive, but Laurel would respond. Check out this pass with Bryson Bivens to Zachariah Jenkins. It's laid in there perfectly. Wow. All tied up at 7. Our first WXXV Student Athlete of the Week, Aiden Green, getting the handoff and crossing midfield, putting the Cats in some pretty good position. And then a few plays later, Green takes the direct snap, hitting the outside, and he's got green grass in front of him. You know what? Hey, Thanks, Aiden, for holding the ball out for me as you crossed the goal line, but you deserve it after this big score. Stone dancing to a 14-7 lead. Golden Tornadoes will respond in the second quarter. Bivens finding Martavius Collier on third down. He spins out of a tackle and finds Pay Dirt, a back-and-forth battle. You know what? We're all tied up at 14. 3 and out by Stone. Laurel knocking at the door with 17 seconds until halftime. Charlie Passley makes the touchdown-saving hit here to keep it tied heading into the locker room, but Laurel would win this one 24-21 on a 23-yard field goal as time expired. Hats off to Stone. A great season. They finished the year 8-4. We'll take a look at our last remaining 5A team.
All right, so you saw that one. That was a tough. That was, and they didn't show the field goal there at the end, but obviously he made the field goal, but that's what I will share that as we just. Well, that was the first time I watched it, even though I was watching the stream. Yeah, if you have any questions or anything, certainly as again we were trying to effort some people to come on here. Let me see if they have any other. That's only one. That's kind of disappointing. That's the only highlight that they have right now. Normally they will have more highlights. Oh, there we go. Let me see. Stop. Hold on. Let me see. All right. So let's check out this. That's Ansley. She's welcome to come on the show. Let's see if we can hear this.
Class 6A Region 4, as this year's Class 6A Region 4 champions, the Picayune Maroon Tide would host my alma mater, the Hancock Hawks, out there in round 2 of the playoffs.
Dennis.
This would be the 5th straight time the Maroon Tide are in the second round of the playoffs after cruising to a 55-7 win against George County last week. Tonight, they faced a fearless Hancock Hawks football team who surprised many as they won their first ever road playoff game in program history against West Jones. But let's see how this game played out today. We start with the Hawks on their first possession. Casey Command drops back and tries to throw a screen pass, and right away it is picked off by Brody Kirkland. He almost returns it back, but they would rule him down immediately after. Right after that play, the Maroon Tide goes to work and hand it off to Xavier Dennis, who runs through the gap and drags a couple of Hawks with him for a touchdown to give Picayune the early lead. The Hawks will go ahead and get the ball right back, looking to answer quickly. And Kyson Command drops back and throws a deep bomb to his guy, Bryson Thompson, for a huge gain right there. Next play, Kyson hikes the ball in the sides. He's going to take it all the way himself, not only showing he's got an arm but legs too. We got a tie football game early right there, folks. But not for long, Picayune gets the ball and again hands it right back off to Xavier Dennis, and watch him go to work. He stumbles briefly and then he's gone for his second touchdown of the night. The Hawks are trying to answer, and Kyson Command drops back, running from pressure, and finds Colton Hopgood for a gain down the sideline right there. Next play, Kyson rolls to his right and tries to run, but it is quickly stopped by that Picayune defense. Now on 4th down right here, Kyson again trying to make something happen for his team, but he's stopped again in his tracks by Picayune. The Maroon Tide didn't get the football back near their end zone, but you know what? It doesn't matter because Xavier Dennis gets the ball and outruns everyone to the end zone for his 3rd touchdown. He is only a junior, folks. What a game by him. Picayune would later drive down the field again and score another touchdown with Macon Burnett at the goal line and take a 31-7 lead over Hancock early in the second quarter before I had to leave the game and tell you all about it. Hancock would score some more in the second half, but it would not be enough as Picayune wins the big game 20-52. Picayune will play against Hattiesburg for the South State Championship next Friday. Another great win by the Maroon Tide. Great game right there. Up next, we head to
All
Class
right.
6A Region 4 as this year's Class 6A Region 4 champions, the Picayune Maroon Tide, would host my
Oh.
alma mater, the Hancock Hawks, out there in round 2 of the playoffs.
All right. There we go. Oh. So let me see if I can find. But that's the other highlight. Let me see if there was any other highlights that they put. And that's what I've done all season, is to share WXXB Friday night, and then we'll share WLOX is tomorrow. But I believe we're going to be wrapping it up here as Thanksgiving week is coming up upon us again. You know, still over 530 people on the stream. Certainly appreciate it joining here at Coast Football. To bring you the highlights, bring you the coaches. We don't have, a lot of players, if any, as far as, especially after the game. The coaches coming on here. So we might have a special, I don't know. Because let me see. I have a special, my Wednesday or maybe Thursday, Thanksgiving. I don't know how many would be on to watch it. So on Thursday night, which is Thanksgiving. Again, teams will be practicing. 3 teams left from the coast, which is the 6 coastal counties. So I guess we're going to end the live here at 11:20. Been on there for almost 2 hours because I came on at the end of certain games. Again, Brandon in overtime beats Oak Grove. They will go to Gulfport. Hattiesburg defeated Pascagoula, and Picayune defeated Hancock. Picayune now will go to Hattiesburg for the rematch of last year for the South State Championship as far as Picayune. And then Poplarville, they started off, I'd say, sluggish. I mean, they weren't undefeated. They had some tough competition. They lost game 1 to West Harrison, who was a pretty good team. Coach Quincy there, but they didn't run the route, thinking, well, is Poplarville in trouble? I mean, they lost to West Harrison, but then they beat Stone 22-21. And then at Hancock, 60-54. That's the one Keys had 7 rushing touchdowns. And then at Pearl River Central, 49-14. But then they lose, of course, Picayune, which is a tough, team. We know that. And then they lost the first region game at Macomb, 35-34. They went 3-3. And then they beat South Pike. They beat Lawrence County at home, both at home, and went to Columbia, lost 49-28. Then Forest County, they won in the first round of the playoffs, 49-20. They won at Forest, 43-34. They won tonight at Macomb. And then now who do they play? They go back and they play Columbia. So it is a rematch, yes, of earlier this year on the night before Halloween on October 30th, where they lost 49-28. Both teams, a little bit different. It's been a month since they played. That is, Poplarville now will go to Columbia, and the winner will go to South State. So we shall see what happens there in the semifinal games. They are 5-4. That is Poplarville Hornets. Coach Beach has been there since 2014. I mean, he's done it all. I mean, every year in the playoffs, he's never been one and done in the playoffs. Coach Beach with Poplarville. He's always won at least a first round game in multiple games. Of course, he went 5-0 last year to win the state championship. After being there 4 times, his 5th time he won it. So that will be the 3rd game there, as Poplarville will be at Columbia, Picayune at Hattiesburg, and Brandon will come down to the coast to face Gulfport. Any last questions from anyone? I don't know, again, if there might be a special live stream on Wednesday night. I'm not sure, because we may be able to get Coach Beach on, who's traveling back from Columbia. We may be able to get the play-by-play, the radio crew there with Baker, Jason Baker on, who's on. He's traveling tonight. He would have been on, but he's driving, so I understand that. Might be able to get him on. Might be able to get Clay Sweet on, and Whitaker there, Ricky Whitaker, on the live stream. So it may take some effort there to get that. And then Gulfport, I don't know who. I watch their streams during the regular season. I don't know if we get their person on. They're not going to stream their game. They haven't streamed the playoff games. May get Coach Pennock on. If he's not doing a coach's show, get him on again. So we'll see if we're going to have a show possibly Wednesday night, a special live show. But just keep all on our socials. We're even on TikTok. At what am I on TikTok? I post videos on TikTok. Coast High School Football on TikTok is where I'm at. And then on Instagram, what am I on Instagram? At Coast Football on Instagram, and on X at Coast Football, and on Facebook at Gulf Coast High School Football, and on YouTube at Coast Football. So we are all over trying to shine the light on the teams, the players, the coaches, as we have the best fans here on the coast. Hopefully we'll have some gold balls to bring back. But South State Championship, enjoy the week. Have a great Thanksgiving week. And look for notices on possibly Wednesday. Maybe do a special live stream Wednesday early evening to have, again, who I aforementioned about it. I'll just texting one of the guests there. But no questions. Nobody has any questions, comments. Who do you think is going to win between these 3 teams? Picayune at Hattiesburg, Brandon at Gulfport, Poplarville at Columbia. They're all going to be some great matches. Well, I give my predictions. Right now, they're all just close. There's so much to look into. I want the coast teams to win. I didn't pick all the coast teams to win tonight, and unfortunately they didn't. I did pick some team, Pascagoula, they didn't win. And listen to the broadcast there with Harold that there's going to be some changes next year. So we'll look for the changes in the broadcast, they said, and also possibly in the coaching staff. Coach Sims, I haven't heard anything that he's going anywhere. He's the longest tenured coach on the coast, 18 years. So I don't know if he's going anywhere or not, but they had a great team. And again, there's only going to be 7 teams at the end of the season to hoist a gold ball. So just because you don't make it doesn't mean. So it's committed to MG's. Yeah, of course, I call football, so I'll be looking forward to them there. Colton Ladner. Of course, Colton remind the folks on who he plays for. James, let's see. Oh, I could look. Oh, but yes, congratulations. I'll post it on there if you have a post somewhere. Mainly, I'll post the highlights, huddle highlights on the X. That's where more coaches / scouts, if you want to say, are on X. Stone. So, and he'll play right there, right where the last game that he played tonight on Perk Gulf Coast Field. That's where he'll play next year. Aiden Gwynn is the kicker for Gulf Coast. He played for Stone. A lot of players from Stone stayed right there and played at Perk. And Coach Wright and company, heck, I may be able to get Coach Wright on. He certainly would come on the live stream. So it might be a Thanksgiving special there. But certainly appreciate you sharing that he is committed to MGCCC. Again, JUCO football is not the same as it was many years ago, especially social media. It might have been looked down upon. Yes, Last Chance U, EMCC in 2015 put it on the map, junior college football, JUCO, on the map. And I watched it, I think, 3 times. They were on there for 2 seasons. And I watched the seasons after that when it went up to Hutchinson and the other colleges in California. But it's great. I just like watching docuseries, especially with football and behind the scenes look. That's why when coaches are on here, I ask them certain questions because as a fan, I want to know. And there's still questions I want to know. I want to know if coaches maybe sometimes have the on an extra point, have the center purposely hike the ball wrong. So they'll know, okay, if a snap is bad, what you're going to do. You're going to get it up and this player is going to go in the end zone. You're going to roll it out and try to throw it in the end zone, different things like that. So we're in the top 5. Yeah, we're in the top 5. Yes. The Hornets. Zay White. So I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but you guys are playing pretty good ball. Oh, so I've been staying on here so long that Hunter's went home, took a shower at 8, and I was looking at these. We're used to staying on to midnight, but I know people get tired. We have 544 people at least on here. I don't know about X and YouTube, but I don't care if we have one person on here. I would talk to that one person, but so I'll just I try to effort some coach at Coach Beach, which I understand he's driving back or riding back from Macomb, so he may not be able to get on. So how you made it back to your office in Pass Christian?
No, I'm actually in Mobile. I am definitely.
Oh, you're going to.
I'm going
South
to USA,
Alabama?
USM tomorrow.
Oh, USA, yes, USM.
The big
in
rivalry
South
game of
Alabama.
the year, and so it's definitely. Fortunately, I was in Gulfport where I could be able to get to Mobile. Rarely, no, it took about an hour and some change, and it was. It's great because the place I stay at's right off the interstate, so it's really good. And so,
That's good then. You'll be able to be with your producer, right? And he covers it on AC Experience.
Yeah, that's right. Jeff's coming. He's coming tomorrow, and so Jeff. I got him covering USA and me doing USM tomorrow for Super Talk, and so that way we can get a little bit of both avenues, and he can get interviews with Major, whereas I can get with Coach Charles Huff and all that. So it's great. It's great. It's gonna be a good time. It's a good time, and I wish MGCC was still playing, but I'm guessing what happened with the seeding with Northwest. Were they 4th seed or 3rd seed?
Yeah, they're 4th seed right now. Gulf Coast, actually, I thought they may drop a couple more, but I don't know if all these other teams, because they're, of course, not Mississippi, if they're still playing or not. But they dropped the 6th, Gulf Coast. But Northwest is 4th. That they came out with the polls on Monday. And I don't know if the other teams are still playing or not. That's why I'm waiting to see. Obviously, if they're stay 4th, if they stay the rank and stay the same, they'll go to Hutchinson. to play on the road. Usually, at least checked in the past, is that first weekend when the state championships for high school is when they usually play that first weekend in December, and then that December 18th is a national championship game on ESPN.
I was going to say that the national championship game is closer to Christmas, isn't it?
It's the 18th.
Okay.
It's the national Wednesday. Yeah. So, I mean, last week I know I talked to you on HD Experience about it, and it was just mainly it came down to the turnovers that Gulf Coast had
close
in
game.
the red zone, especially.
I was surprised, Don Hammock didn't really put all that much. I mean, I'm not saying Don does a great job, but it was kind of a little bit, it didn't really tell the whole story. I mean, because it was a close score, and I thought there was something, but of course he's not going to say anything negative, of course, about Perk, just like yourself, because I really would kind of like to know the turnovers, but he just kept it as simple as he could. So,
well, also, not after that game, he actually was staying and going up to the girls' soccer.
Oh,
not
really?
saying he didn't have time, but I don't know. I didn't really read the write up, but no, I'll be critical of Gulf Coast if it needs to be. And yes, they turned the ball over, and then Aiden Gwynn. With Stone, he was 8 for 8 in field goals, and he was going into the win to tie the game, and it would have been his longest of the year, but it was still manageable. And he just pulled it left. So but they got inside the 10-yard line and went under center and fumbled a snap, and that was points aired, and they got in the red zone, and he threw it over to the top receiver, Tyler Henderson, and he caught it. But when he caught it, the ball, he juggled it. It bounced in the air, and they intercepted it. So it was just the way the ball bounces, as they say. And so I had him winning. I had Gulf Coast. Gulf Coast they're just playing better ball. They lost the only game to Colin by 28 seconds of that game, where they gave up 3 touchdowns on 6 plays. And so I had Gulf Coast winning, and really Northwest shouldn't have been there because Colin was at the 6-yard line, and they didn't go for a field goal to win the game. And that's when they threw the interception. But they lost 4 straight playoff games, Coach Wright, after he won the national championship. But they won a playoff game this year at East Mississippi, which is a tough place. So hey, that was good. And Coach Wright they're always in the rankings. They're Gulf Coast.
Oh, of course, for a better segue too with that, which I sort of, when I was on scoreboard live tonight in Jackson, of course, I was the one that mentioned. I said, well, isn't that kind of strange that Brandon's been playing? They've won 4 straight games after Coach Pogue, he and Brandon decided to separate ties. And of course, they're like, oh, Hunter, that's the elephant in the room. And I said, well, it's amazing because you have a team that came back that had gone to the state championship last year, and they've been 5 of the last 7 South State championships. But, it was a little bit surreal for me to see them playing. I was not at all surprised that they beat Ocean Springs and then beating Oak Grove. I mean, it's not surprising. As good as that team was last year, now granted they were heavy senior level last year, but there were still some remnants from that team. And I thought once they get back to what they do well, and they certainly have done that they'd be in the South State Championship. But I'm telling you, this Gulfport team has really got their head on right. They've got they're trench dogs, and they take advantage of the opportunity. And their playmakers are real playmakers. They're real key players, and there's so many of them. I mean, you can say Cooper Crosby, you can say Cade Morgan, you can say Andre Peters, Pierre Felder, but that's not just it. It's a combined team unit.
Yeah. If you go back to the media day, which I have the videos on, where Coach Pennock said that the defensive secondary, I guess if you were going to point to any kind of weak side would be I believe the secondary. He liked the front line of the Gulfport Animals. Of course, Felder's back there, as a DB, but they have just, I say, like flipped the switch. Like I say, since they lost to Petal, they just have really come into their own there these last on this winning streak. They have 9-game winning streak, that is Gulfport. So I'm interested, and I think I'm leaning toward Hunter seriously being there in Gulfport next Friday.
And you know what's funny about it, Matt, is that how all the teams that we saw Gulfport matched up against, we thought that they weren't really that good and that Gulfport was kind of going down the hill. Look who they played their close game against, Laurel. They beat Laurel only by 3 in the bricks. Now, granted, they made a lot of mistakes, and Laurel took advantage of a few of those. But look where Laurel is. Laurel's in the South State Championship after beating Stone. I mean, that was a really good Stone team. And, Pascagoula played pretty well tonight, even though Hattiesburg pulled it out in the end. Pascagoula was in the game, and they had the opportunity. Picayune is in the South State Championship. Petal, played against Gulfport tonight. Gulfport, took them out. But all these games that were close games, and Gulfport's pretty much had the later the season has gone on, the ones they've run out against. And I really, the real game that I think is kind of, funny, at least from when I was talking to other reporters. So a bunch of the Pine Belt reporters who came to me last week at the USM game, they said, well, we think it's going to be a pretty tight game. I said, no, I don't think it's going to be tight. They're like, what are you talking about? This is Petal team beat Gulfport. I said, Petal played close with the Aberville, and they lost. They lost to Northwest Rankin the week before the last game of the season. Gulfport pretty much just manhandled Northwest Rankin. You can't really tell me. I mean, I know that's a kind of controversial thing to say nowadays, but you can't tell me that they're not just going to take it to them. They're a trench team. Now, D'Iberville, of course, because Gulfport had to play them on the road, and it made it a little bit, uneasy from it's almost a rivalry game. But at the same sense, I mean, it was Gulfport has owned the trenches all the way since, really the last game against Petal.
Yeah. I mean, Gulfport just, like I say, when even go back to last year where they had the lead until they didn't at the end. So you think, and then this year, Picayune of game 1 where, they had it there to even kick a field goal to win it, and he threw an interception, and then they lost to Petal and that field goal to the right. So it was like, is it going to be they say the Gulfport, but is it going to be the team that has a lead and then lose the lead late? But Coach Pinnock has really,
and they're 2 losses.
Got them on that hump, especially they didn't just win, Hunter. They have really dominated
of course.
These, and not just these last 2 games, for the most part of the season there. And then now you got Brandon and Gulfport, who hasn't won a state championship, either one of them. But, looking at their wins ever since that Petal, where they beat Pascagoula 53-13, Ocean Springs 41-28, that's 13 points, 40-0 St. Martin, 42-14, 35-0 Biloxi. Now, D'Iberville was at 38-35 with the onside kicks there at the end.
Yeah, and it had a lot to do, just like I told you about when they played Ocean Springs. Now, Ocean Springs played them as well as any other team, but Gulfport owned the trenches all year long, but especially once they got into region play, they owned the trenches. And, Ocean Springs was, pretty shocked, at least, that somebody had actually taken it to them this year. And finally they realized, that's a different team. That's a different Gulfport team.
Well, I know you had, as far as on HD Experience, which the fans will be able to hear this week coming up, or check the timeline from last week's or all of them. But where Coach Stockstill, or you had asked me why, 7A, why can't 7A win? And Coach Stockstill even said it in one of his interviews, and Coach Pennock even said it, is the physicality of it. Is that that you're saying, Gulfport is being fit, just the more physical part of it. And I know Coach Pennock said it being on the coach's show he had. I heard him say it somewhere, and then I heard Coach Stockstill say it from Pastor Christian, who won 2 state championships back-to-back at Scott Central. That's the difference where we don't have the players that they need to be more fit. We have the coaches, we have the players, Hunter. Why can't we win more in 7A, than we have?
Remember, Matt, the question that I asked tonight, Coach Pennock, I asked him what has made this work for you guys, the trenches. He said, it's the summertime, Hunter. It's the off-season workouts. It's putting it in. And I'm not saying anything about any other team. I'm not saying anything about other kids, because I'm sure there are kids that work their tails off just as much as this Gulfport unit has. But I think that really tells you a lot, when it's not the sexiest thing to be in the gym in the summertime working out and, pumping iron and running sprints. And it's not that sexy thing. But at the end of the day, when you come back and you look at Thanksgiving, are you still playing? That's what happens when you're still playing, is that turns it out. The harder, I've heard this from a lot of people, the harder you work, the luckier that you get. And I really think that Gulfport's luck has really been because of their hard work.
Yes, you do need some luck there, but the hard, like say you mentioned, when you're going to workouts, I saw a video, Coach French there, Caitlin French with Bay High. They had a video of them working out. Now their season's been done since the regular season, but they're already starting to work next year, and that's where you play in November by what you do all the way before that. It's not what you do, in a couple weeks ago that prepare you for this. It's what you did at the end of last season to get that built strength up, to get going. And like coaches always usually say, hey, you win the games Monday through Thursday, what you do. And yes, it goes that way. But again, to hear 2 coaches, that it just resonated with me that, Coach Stockstill, and I'm sure all the coaches would say that, the physical part of it, where again, it's disappointing that more 7A, we didn't win. And yes, the other teams, 6A, Picayune and Poplarville, Stone is there in 5A. We're just, they representing the coast, Resurrection back years ago was there. St. Patrick was in the playoffs, but as far as the win, at the top level, that's what I guess we're striving to do in 7A. And yes, it was Gulfport this year. It had been Ocean Springs the past few years. So for Gulfport to do it this year, and really, again, they're not just getting by; they are putting the throat on people, putting the boot on the throat, I should say, of teams.
And of course, when you see guys like Cooper Crosby running through the play and carrying 6 guys from the other team in the playoffs, that there's a difference between regular season and doing that. In the playoffs, when you see Cooper Crosby running up the middle, carrying 5 guys from Petal, who's a pretty physical level team, that goes to show you a lot of what's going on. And as I heard last week, from the top, USM's head coach Charles Huff, who told me, he said, Hunter, he said, you win and lose, just as you said earlier, you win and lose games on Monday through Thursday, especially in college football, when you don't have the people are not disciplined and they're taking off drills here and there and everywhere else. It has nothing to do with what you show up with on Saturday or Friday. It's what happens to you on Monday through Thursday.
Yes, and then like I say, describing the scene, Coach Pennock there, at Milner Stadium, watching, to see what Brandon, see if they're going to host this game, and they went in overtime, and of course your game was over.
There was an eruption. I mean, as I was walking out, and I had just talked with Cooper for a minute before I left, and the moment that I turned, there was this massive, yelling and crowd and all that. I said, well, Brandon must have won. That was it.
Yeah, it so happens, like I said, they live stream, so I was live streaming it right here on this. Along with Stone, happened to lose unfortunately Laurel there at the last second, literally 1 second on the clock, and they kicked a field goal to win the game to beat Stone. But yes, to have Oak Grove and Brandon, who was down, it was 10-10 each, and Oak Grove had it 24-10 and 24-16. Then they went for 2 to tie it up and went into overtime. And Oak Grove kicked the field goal, and Brandon was able to run it in, and that was it. So again, Brandon nor Gulfport has won a state championship, but you know who's in the north, and you've heard of these teams, and that is Lane Kippen's son, and I don't know his name, but he's Oxford.
Yeah.
And Tupelo. So Tupelo, is in fact, did they win last? I was at the. Did they win last year?
Yeah, the Tupelo beat Brandon in the state championship. Yeah.
See, you remember that. I'm getting old.
Yeah,
so I'm looking at it now to see
Lane
what it.
Kiffin's son, Knox is Knox Kiffin.
Knox.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was the quarter. I don't know if Oxford won tonight or not, but he is the quarterback of.
Yeah, that's who they play. That's who they play. Is Tupelo.
Is that next week in the South State or the North?
No,
State?
in North State. The North State.
North State. Okay.
Yeah. So yes, I'm looking at last year. They did win. Tupelo did win 28-16 over Brandon. So Brandon, and again, and Gulfport have not won a state championship. But yeah, Oxford. Now you're saying his name Oxford is playing at Tupelo. Knox.
Yeah.
Too many OXs and getting on almost going on midnight.
Well,
but
and of course, Lane's he had his son Knox when he was still coaching in Tennessee, and so he was named after Knox.
Oh, let's see. There you go. And I was telling fans here that I may do a special on Wednesday night. I'm not sure. I don't know how many people would actually come and watch. And I'm not looking for a specific number as far as fans to come do the live stream.
Yeah.
I look to have a Coach Beach who I couldn't have on tonight,
Yeah.
or some play-by-play, Clay, or Ricky Whitaker from Talking Ball, y'all. Just a big
You could have me, but I don't think you're going to get Coach Pinnock though.
Well, I don't know why not. Well, true. I don't know. I had asked him.
No, I think I asked him earlier today, but he said, "Well, because I normally do my Friday interviews with him on Wednesday." He said, "Hunter, I don't think that's going to work this week." I said, "Okay, it's no big deal."
Well, I mean, he may have his coaches because normally has it on Thursday. Well, he's not going to have it on Thanksgiving, so he'll probably have it Wednesday. But I mean, we had him on tonight. I mean, if he doesn't come on when, and I'm just seeing if I'm going to do it or not. I have to see.
I am going
to
text him. I am going to text him Sunday, see if he'll do the coach the HD experience. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because I did text him to thank him for being on the live stream, and again, I did actually tell him, hey, I'll look to come there Friday to come to the game, and maybe to see you guys up in the booth maybe the first half, and then go down on the sideline the second half. I don't want to mess up y'all show that y'all do.
Oh no, I mean it's we had a bunch of people up there today. We had Coach Jay Chambliss who normally does the live stream, but also him and a couple other coaches at least just show up there, and it's good. It's always good to have people that you're used to being around, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun up there. Especially
you guys have a sideline guy?
No, we actually Super Talk did give us the money to be able to get one. Problem with that was we didn't have the I think they had the equipment, but they didn't have the connection with Gulfport at least. Unless you're interested in doing it, then we'll talk.
I never did sideline, so I don't. I'm usually, but I'm. That's why I was telling Coach Pinnock that I do who I need to speak with. So I'm trying to see about getting.
Well, I'll get you Matt Walters, the Gulfport AD. I'll get you his phone number.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said about his name. So that's what right now, unless something crazy happens, I plan on, the last game at Milner, so hopefully it will be a winning night, but
It'll be fun.
we'll see how it goes. Because of course, like I say, Picayune will be at Hattiesburg, and Poplarville will be at Columbia. Those are the other two coast teams there, and I can tell the fans, to come to Gulfport or go to Hattiesburg or go to support, these teams, because there's 22 teams that are not playing from the coast. There's 3 teams left, so to support them and in their journey, in their quest. South State, after Thanksgiving, after you just ate all that turkey, and enjoy Friday night football, the last Friday night under the lights on the coast, as far as without going to the state championship the following week.
4, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it is. So it definitely is. So, but yeah, it's our normal time that we're fixing to sign off. Again, I shared some highlights, and I showed the 2 highlights to the fans, the Stone game and the Picayune game, as I shared WXXV highlights tonight.
You'll have to see if you can find that. Okay, so the second touchdown that Gulfport scored, it was on the very second possession. Coach Pinnock, I asked him the question, it was a trick play, because what happened was they were set up and they had a receiver who looked like it was Hales, Javius Hales, who looked like he was going to run out of bounds, but he didn't. He turned around right at the last second, but because when he went and took a step and crossed the numbers, then he ran a wide open post route, and they found him. And of course, Coach Boyles and all Petal High School was going ape crap on it, and so it was.
Yeah, that's what he said. They threw a flag.
They
so
did.
Coach Pennock said they threw a flag.
The line judge, who had not had that discussion. Now, every one of the white hat and all of them had already had the discussion with Pinnock, but when they threw the flag, you could see the white hat coming over, picking it up. Like he made sure he picked it up, and then of course Coach Boyles was flipping out like crazy, and he went over there and he said, under the MHSA rules, as long as he doesn't go out of bounds and he steps over the numbers, you can do it. And of course, that was great. That was worth a highlight. So.
Yeah, I'm sure. And you said it happened in the first half, because I'm sure whoever.
Yeah, it was the first quarter. It was the second score touchdown. Yeah, when they were, it was 14-3 after that, and that's when they had the pick six a little bit after the next possession. But before that, it was a 14-3.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll catch it on the news, because they normally maybe don't stay the whole game. The news.
But that was shocking. It was so weird about it, because it was just a second down play. They just ran it. It was like, what?
Yeah, like the receiver's running off, but then he don't run off.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's good to know the rules, and that that he checked with many people from what he said in the interview earlier to make sure, hey, I can do this. So it certainly worked, and you do what you can do to get the win. And like I say, 45-10, Gulfport was able to take care of business tonight again on a 9-game winning streak. Now 5 straight home wins there, and took care of Petal, as Petal did beat them 25-24 back on September 19th. So they're able to revenge there. And again, his second South State championship game is Coach Pennock, and of course he lost while he was at Ocean Springs in 2022 to Brandon. So here he is in 2025.
I remember Demario Davis from the Saints came down, to that game, because it was at Ocean Springs, and Demario. The Saints had the week off, and Demario, who graduated from Brandon, he came and drove over there.
Oh, well, so that's very good. So yes, I plan out. Of course, I'll be off on that Friday. Not that it matters, even if I was work close on that Friday. So I'll probably come over there maybe a little bit earlier than normal, but and then I'll probably go live from Milner Stadium, and then see about coming home and doing a live stream. And, it may be that pretty time.
If you want to do live, you can come on up to the press box. We're up there, and after the game, we just sit around and talk for a little bit. So
Yeah. I could go live on my phone, but I don't know unless I come home to do the live on here and get the. Of course, I'll get updates through the other games. But again, Wednesday, I may see it's not written in stone because I don't want to put it out there. I don't usually put anything out there if I'm not going to do it. So I'm trying to see if I the time wise, see if I can get again some commentators on there. Be it Clay Sweet and them on Wednesday to do a little preview of the Friday game, since Thursday's Thanksgiving. Everybody will be sitting on their couch and eating cranberries and turkey and stuff. So, but yes, first it'll be the HD Experience. So everybody will tune in for that. We'll have that out on Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it comes out. And I'll, look forward to the guests that you have on there. It's always
gonna be a good
smorgasbord of guests that you have
It's
on.
going to be a good week this week. You'll enjoy it, and all your fans will really enjoy it if they follow on either on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, or iHeart, either one, or Facebook.
It's growing. Your HD Experience is growing. Like I say, you have a lot. Like I say, a wide range from high school football to college to to everything. So it's really taken off. It just I think 11 episodes now.
This will be the 13th. So
lucky 13th. So there you go. So, but I certainly appreciate you having on as it's hitting midnight, and like I say, a great night for the three teams, and still great seasons for the teams that ended tonight in a Stone, in a Pascagoula, in Past Christian, the most wins, 11 wins. Coach Stockstill with Paris, he's just a junior.
That's right. He's looking to get better, and I think they've got a lot of positive going ahead for them.
They do, and have the coach in place there. So yes, unfortunately there was some losers on the low side of the score tonight, but still great seasons to be playing, in November. So
that's right.
I appreciate it, Hunter, and like I said, the Real Gazebo Gazette on Facebook, and then on X, Gazebo Gazette, and certainly appreciate you joining. And we still got another week to go. I guess it may be the last week, unless we do a special after the state championship games, and we can get a team there. We have 3 chances to get a team there. So.
We do, and definitely it would be great if we get all 3 there. Have a good old time up in Starkville.
Yeah, we've had 2. I don't think we've had 3, at least I've been doing it. We've had 2 up there before, including last year, with Gaucher and Poplarville. So, man, to get 3 up there, that would be something. The coach would be saying something then. So, but I appreciate it, Hunter, and to all the fans. We still got 555 fans, on here, at least on Facebook, on X, on YouTube. And what a night it was. As now South State will be next week, and the state championships the week after. So appreciate you joining tonight. And the Coach Stockstill, I'm used to having him on. Coach Stogner from Picayune, Coach Pennock from Gulfport were on tonight, and we'll see about the special Wednesday. So until then, we'll catch you under the lights on Friday night. So appreciate it, Hunter.
Thank you, my friend.
All right. Stat is